All right, so first of all, hopefully you all can hear me. So if you jump on here, let me know if you can't, because sometimes when I prop my phone up, I feel like it blocks my microphone. So I have a little bit of time before I go in for my nail appointment this morning, and I wanted to come on here and just do a little live chat and kind of answer some of your questions that you guys ask me. So we're going to start, actually I love this one. Okay, so the first question that popped up on here, and I wonder if I can share it so you guys can see it. Okay, hold on. We are going to jump. Okay, I'm going to turn off badges because it wouldn't let me share the questions with the badges on, which is interesting. Okay, so anyway, the first question was thank you so much, Ginger. I appreciate you. I feel like I look tired this morning, and someone's going to ask me if I was crying because of my glassy eyes, but these are just my eyeballs, guys. Okay, so let's chat for a second. All right, the first question someone asked me this morning, it's right here, it just popped up, check it. All right, it was advice for making new friends in your 30s because it's so hard. Girl, if you're on here, this is for you. If you watch this back later, I'm going to answer, but it is so hard, and yet not so hard. I think this is my thoughts on friendships, right? So I'm always like, no new friends, right? But yet I mean it in the way of like, it's all about quality over quantity, okay? So you could have 20, 30 friends, but I can tell you right now, that's not quality 20, 30 friends. I don't care what anyone says. It's just not, okay? You want quality friends. You want friends you can pick up the phone. They're there for you no matter what. You want friends that are aligned with you in your morals, in your character, in just like the things that are good for you, not for good for you. No, I'm not crying. I knew someone was going to ask. But anyway, you want friends that align with you. And as we get older, I think why it feels harder is because we figure out who we are. We know who we are. We know what we want. Some of us start to instill boundaries into our life. And in doing that, we realize, well, shit, maybe those friends I had aren't really the friends that are in this season of my life right now. Like maybe it's not the right season. Maybe this friendship isn't, what it used to be. Maybe I'm evolving, whatever the case might be. And so when you're making new friends, I want you to start thinking about this, okay? You don't need a lot of friends, so don't think because you have one or two that's not good. The friends that you do have, you're like quality friends, like your friends, the people that like, I saw this quote yesterday, by the way. Not everyone is your friend. Some people are coworkers. Some people are acquaintances. Some people are business partners. Some people are just supporters, like followers here on this platform. Some people are just, for example, your hairstylist or your nail tech. Like, I think what happens, and I'm saying this because this isn't the case for me. My hairstylist and my nail tech are my friends. But what I want to share with you is that a lot of people cross lines in these categories, and they think that those people are their friends, but they're not always your friends, right? So you have to identify what is a friend for you and then say, okay, who is truly my friend and who is just like an acquaintance, right? Like people be like, oh, do you know so-and-so? Oh yeah, that's my friend. No, that's my acquaintance. Like I barely know that person. Like, would you vouch for that person? Would you bail them out of jail? Like they pick up the phone in the middle of the night, call you at 3 a.m. Are you showing up for them? You know what I'm saying? So like you really have to think about it that way. And I'm seeing a lot of comments pop up, and I'm going to try to answer them as I go with this, because this is the topic. And as you change every season of your life, and I say this all the time to my friends, I say this to people that I just talk with and mentor, every season of your life will bring you, every season of your life is going to bring you like a change, a shift, right? And so for example, when I got pregnant, that brought a shift in my friendships, 100%, because there's some people who just maybe didn't want kids or weren't in that season of life and or just couldn't be the supportive friend I needed during that time. So maybe we're not friends anymore. Maybe now we're just acquaintances, or maybe we're not friends at all. When I had Riley, let me tell you this, all you moms out there, and you know this, when you have a baby, and every baby you have after that, not only does it change the dynamics of your own life and your own relationships with your spouse, it changes the relationships with the people in your life, the friends and the friends. Why? It's just seasons for reasons, and not everyone is going to be there for it. And a lot of times I think where the disconnect happens is the friends who aren't in that headspace of wanting to have children yet, and then you have children, like, when you're young, a lot of people are young and have kids young. I think what happens is they tend to lose friendships faster because younger kids are more focused on just being kids and not having kids, right? And then we're a little bit older as adults, and the same kind of thing happens. But shifts happen, seasons for reasons, and you have to look at it like it's a blessing. You don't want to force someone to be friends with you. You don't want to force someone to, stay in your life or be in your kid's life. And so one of the biggest things too I've learned is, like, just because you have access to me in a sense doesn't mean you get access to my kid. And not everyone deserves access to your children, and you have to be mindful of that. Like, who do you want around your kids? Would you leave your kid with that person? If you wouldn't, that's not someone that you should really have in your life or in your children's life. So going back to the original question of, like, well, how do you make friends at this age? Well, go try new things. For example, going to Pilates. I meet new people at Pilates all the time. And hold on a second. I just need to, like, remove these weirdos because they keep asking weird things. I don't know why Instagram won't just, like, make it for my followers and not randoms. But anyway, how do we make new friends? Okay. All right. Well, maybe you want to find people of common interests. So church, Pilates, the gym, you can start saying hi to people, getting to know them that way, having conversations, and see if it's someone that you want to have in your life. So doing new activities. You find people who like the same activities, you have common interests, common ground, and you start to connect and get to know each other, and you decide if there's a friendship there or not. The biggest thing is, like, not to force it, and also not to worry. Like, again, you don't need a million friends. You just need that core group. Trust me, I know. I remember a long time ago, this was like, I think just after high school, I had this girl, she had asked me, she was like, you've changed a lot of friends. Your friend groups keep changing. And it's like, yeah, because I keep changing. I keep evolving. And I still have my core friends. I still have and friends. If I say you're my friend, I mean it. And that is not something I use loosely. I don't go around calling everyone a best friend because not everyone is my best friend. I don't feel the need to title my friends in terms of, like, at this age, I'm 39. You're my friend, you're my friend. That shit's golden. It doesn't matter. I don't need to say best friend. I don't need to say my friend for my whole life. Like, that doesn't need to be titles, right? But, like, if you're my friend, that is golden. And I don't just say friend to say friend. A lot of people throw it around loosely. A lot of people are like, that's my bestie. But is it? Is it? So when you're making these new friendships, just keep that in mind. It's all about alignment with where you are, who you are in your life, what you want in your life. And, you don't need a million friends and best friends. You just need that solid core group. So if you want to make some new friends, my short answer to all that is I encourage you to do new activities or join groups that are focused around things you like, and then you meet people with common interest, and you decide from there, do you have an actual genuine connection? Is there, like, this authentic, organic connection where you want to hang out with that person? And you decide from there, and you go from there, do new things, and you have to get out. Like, I do think when I hate even just going back to this, but, like, going back to, like, I hate saying this word. I don't want it to flag my video, but the shutdown times, I think people got used to that hermit life. And so now we're just trying to relearn how to be. And so don't put too much pressure on yourself, but you got to get out of the house. If you want new friends and you're at home, you're not going to make new friends. Try new things, go to new places. Again, like, the best places are, like, Pilates, the gym, church for me, right? Because it aligns core to who I am. And maybe you have friends who, you have, like, a friend who's more outgoing. So then you go out and do more things with that friend, and maybe you make some more friends. But don't make yourself crazy trying to make new friends is the whole point I'm trying to get back to. Okay, that was the first question that someone asked me on here. And the second question that we're going to tackle is one of my favorite questions that I love to talk about, because it's probably my most commonly asked question, is how do you get disciplined, self-motivated? What works to start and keep going? How do you get disciplined? Let's tackle the first part of this question. How do you get disciplined, self-motivated? Well, let's talk about this. Understanding that discipline is not motivation. Motivation is not discipline. They are completely two different things. I can motivate the shit out of you right now on this live. I could get your ass fired up to go out and do something, right? You go do it. That's it. That's all motivation is going to do for you. That quick burst. Discipline is what gets you up every day, regardless of motivation. Discipline is what keeps you going. Discipline is what creates your habits and your routine and your structure, right? Discipline is what you want. You don't need motivation when you have discipline. Motivation is always like the cherry on top of the cake. That's how I describe it. Because I have all this discipline. And so some days I listen to a podcast and it motivates me. So it's just like a little extra. It's like sprinkles on the cake, on the ice cream, whatever you want to call it. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. So now you say, well, how do I create that for myself? Well, first you have to identify, what is your goal? What is your goal? So let's take it straight to fitness, right? Okay, my goal is weight loss. Well, guess what? Staying up late, sleeping in, not prioritizing your intake of nutrition, not drinking water, not being mindful of nutritional, supplementation, things like that. If you don't do any of that, guess what? You're not reaching goals. I don't care how many podcasts you listen to. I don't care how motivated you get. You're not going to reach your goal unless you have discipline. So in order to instill discipline in your life, you have to identify first, what is your goal? What's your goal? Ask yourself, what is my goal, right? And then say, okay, step one. So many people, this is where people, and I have been in the fitness industry as an instructor and a personal trainer for 16 years, okay? And so many people will set up a goal, but they fail. Why do they fail? They fail because they are trying to just overdo it. I want to lose weight, so I'm going to change everything one day. I'm going to go cold turkey. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They set too many goals, right? So you got to have a big goal, and now you need to just kind of dissect it. All right. So why don't you start? Ask yourself, do you have any kind of movement in your daily life? Movement. Dancing. Talk about this all the time. Dancing in your kitchen, taking a walk, stretching, yoga, working out, anything, running, like whatever it is. Do you have daily movement? It's a baseline of your goal. If you don't have daily movement, then you can't expect to say you're going to run a 5K this week. You're going to do this, and that. No. Take it and scale it back. Take it to the basics. Like everything we do is back to basics. All right. So my goal is losing weight. Let me start with, am I prioritizing movement? Okay, no. So today I'm going to prioritize movement. And I'm going to have the discipline to do this for a week. I'm going to discipline after a week to continue to keep doing it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so on. So once you hit my kind of rule of thumb, once you go for a week, you want to keep going. But let's just say you start with movement. You start with movement. Okay. Then you can add, I'm going to make sure I drink this much water. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure I'm tweaking my nutrition. If you're somebody who, let's say you drink a 12-pack of Diet Coke every day, you can't cold turkey it. Because what happens? You feel restriction. You feel like someone took something away from you, and you know what you do in turn? You binge, and you wind up drinking 24-pack of Coca-Cola. Why? Scale it back. Okay, well, today I drank 12 sodas, so tomorrow I'm going to shoot for 11. Next day, you know what? I'm going to go for 9, only 9. Okay, I'm only going to go for 7. Do you get my point? You've got to make goals that are attainable so you can achieve them, so you can feel good about yourself, so you can be like, yes, I did this. I can do this. It's going to pump you up. It's going to encourage your discipline. It's going to keep you motivated. And then the next thing you know, you're like, shit, it's been a month and I haven't had a soda and I don't want a soda. And now you're sustaining a lifestyle. Everything we do is to sustain a lifestyle. Trust me, I'm a person I'm a Scorpio. I'm all in or I'm all out. It's the truth. And something I've had to teach myself throughout the years is I want something, I want it so bad, I'm going ham. Like, I'm that person. I'm like, you know what? If I was like today, like, I'm going to go run a marathon. My ass is going outside and I'm going to start running. I think I'm going to run 13 miles. Like, that's me. But over the years, I've learned that is unhealthy. That is not sustainable. So to get sustainable, I need to say, okay, I got to run, because normally right now I'm only running if something's chasing me, because that's just where I'm at in life. I don't want to run. It freaking hurts. There's nothing good about it. Like, I want to do everything else. So my point is, set small goals. Achieve them. Be proud of yourself for them. Honor them. Celebrate them. Celebrate the wins, because the small stuff matters, right? And then as you do that, yes, girl, Atomic Habits Habits is a great book, guys. Pick it up. Atomic Habits. Great book. I read it last year. It's an incredible read. And it literally talks about, bottom line, society today, everybody's looking for the fucking elevator. And that's the truth. And that's what this book talks about. Everyone is looking for the elevator to success, to their goals. Nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to put in the grit. Put in the grit. Put in the hard work. And not only will you create the discipline, the habits, the routine, your own motivation, but when you do all of that, it's more rewarding. Stop looking for the fast track. There is no fast track. And guess what? If you got on a fast track, it's going to crash and burn really quick. And I can promise you that. Think about like, my point I was going to bring up before, by the way, is being in this industry for as long as I have. So here's my squirrel moment. I'm coming back around. Being in the industry as long as I have, okay, I know, because I am that person who restricted myself, who tried to do the cold turkey, who tried to do everything at once, who burnt the candle at both ends, and it was a disaster. A disaster. You don't want to live like that. Set yourself up for success, sustainability. That's where it's at. Now, that also doesn't mean, on the flip side, that you can say, well, again, we're talking about fitness. I'm using this example. I have a goal and I want to get really in shape, best shape of my life. Well, that doesn't mean that you change one thing and it's going to happen. And that's it. You've got to change your whole life. So I'm not saying to do it overnight. You do have to implement action, and continually and consistently. And you can't, after 1 month, say, well, I did this and this, but I'm not really where I need to be, so it didn't work. No, it doesn't work like that either. It's your life. Life is literally every day that you wake up and you breathe. It's not a 2-month thing, a 3-month thing, a 6-month thing. It is a lifestyle, like forever. It's your life forever. It's a choice. Like, you know, I remember, and I just remember like being always wanting to prioritize fitness, even in the thick of when people were like out and partying. And it's like, if I ever said, no, I'm not drinking tonight, people are like, why? What's wrong with you? Nothing's fucking wrong with me. I'm healthy and I want to get up tomorrow, not feel like shit, not overwork my organs, and I want to feel good. Like, it's just so funny how society as a whole will shame you if you don't want to drink, you don't want to party, you don't want to stay up late, you don't want to do all the things that are terrible for you, but nobody's like clapping when you get up early and go to the gym, or clapping because you lost weight, or celebrating you in that way. We got to change that narrative. But anyway, the point is, as I ramble and say all of this, going back to the original question, what gets you started? You are responsible for getting started. Nobody else. I could tell you to start, but if you don't make that decision, it's a decision. It is a cognitive decision to say, I am ready and I'm doing this and I'm starting, and then implementing action. True story here for you guys. I have shared pretty much everything. I share a lot of stuff here. And recently I've been struggling, and it's the truth. The real truth of this is that it's probably been a solid 3 months that I have just not felt like myself. I was really struggling. It started with being out of routine. Okay? Not focusing on my discipline, getting off routine, and not prioritizing things that made me feel good. So then I just started to plummet. My mood, now you guys wouldn't know because I share what I want to share. So my mood started to plummet. My physical level of activity was going down. I just didn't feel good. I was not feeling myself, like just not, and irritable and cranky. And then what happened is so many things surfaced for me that I realized I hadn't worked through. And a little trigger warning here. So if you're watching and listening, just giving you that heads up that when I had my miscarriage, and it's been over a year. So July was a year, which is crazy to think. I don't really think that I realized how hard it hit me, because I got into a state of depression, and it was the first time in my life that I ever felt so sad and didn't know how to navigate it, because I'm someone who's very black and white with things, very black or white. There's no gray. Someone dies, okay, it's because they're old. Someone's dead, okay, this is life and I keep it moving. That's me. But the miscarriage and the grief hit me differently, very differently than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And I worked through it in the way I work through things, which is healthy and then partly not. And so it's resurfaced for me recently where I realized that I really struggled more than I allowed myself to. And the pain of that grief, resurfaced a lot recently. Little things triggered me. Stuff was happening. Riley, to be completely transparent, literally when she prays to God, she prays to be a sister. And if you're a parent or you're struggling to become a parent or you can identify with this at all, that is something that like literally stabs you to your core, because it's like, well, it's not that I didn't try, right? And so now I'm in this phase of life, well, I'm 39, like, do I even want to try again? Like, I don't think I do. Maybe I do. Like, I'm battling so many things. And so I haven't really felt like myself for a while. And I knew what could bring me back was making a decision to prioritize not only my mental health, which is big right now for me, prioritizing it. And I want to share with you that there's always been such a stigma around therapy, and I actually have been going, and it's the best thing I ever did for myself, and I wish I started sooner. So if you are somebody who is struggling, yes, people like me who are out here on platforms trying to help you and give you life advice and share experiences and kind of be like a life coach in essence to you are helpful. But there's nothing better than actually going to a licensed therapist, somebody who is trained to really help you navigate things that you're struggling with. And the best thing I could do was go. I love going. I look forward to going. And the stigma behind it, you've got to, it's like, come on guys, it's 2024, no more. Men, women, we all need it. Even if you're not feeling like you need it, you need it. You'd be surprised, because sharing again a vulnerable moment, I got there my first session and I was like, what am I even going to talk about? And then I couldn't stop talking. I couldn't stop crying. And I think that it's so important to share this because I share so much with you guys, and I think a lot of you see me as, and I am, very strong, very disciplined, very motivated, very all these things. And two things can be true at once. You can be all of these things and you can still struggle. You can be happy and still have moments of sadness. You can be a really great mom and still struggle with motherhood. Like, you can be all these things. And so the best thing I ever did was go. And I'm sharing this with you guys because going back to what I was saying is it's a decision. And it was a decision for me, number one, to prioritize my mental health. 2, to get back on track with what I know makes me feel good, routine. I wasn't eating. I literally was like, not eating, maybe eating once or twice a day. That's not good for me. I'm somebody who needs to eat 6 times a day. Drinking way too much caffeine and then not sleeping. So what have I done to change this? I made a decision. I know what my goal is. I know where I'm focused. And so one of the biggest things is going back to bed at 8:30 at night. I'm going to tackle, by the way, Monday, my masterclass, where I'm gearing this towards women specifically. If you've been putting yourself on the back burner, whether you're a mom or not, whatever it is in life, and you're trying to navigate like how to balance, how to prioritize yourself, how do you focus on self-care, self-love, all of those things. So I'm going to navigate that with you on Monday. Okay. And we're going to go over it, and I'm going to get real deep on all this stuff. I'm going to share a lot more, and I'm also going to share a lot of tools, tips, tricks, and takeaways. Okay. And then we're going to open it up on the call on Monday, and we're going to connect, and I'm going to help you. But what I want to share is just a little bit of like, I prioritize bedtime again for me. I go to bed at 8:30. Riley fell asleep last night, like, I don't know, 8:15. I still went to bed at 8. I think, well, actually, no, last night I lied. I was watching some show I got sucked into, so 9:30. I think it was like 9:45. Late for me, regardless. I wanted a little wind down time. But I've been going to bed at 8:30. I get up at 5. Bed at 8:30. I get up at 5. And I journal. I read my Jesus Calling. I've been reading the Bible that coincides with the Jesus Calling. I do my gratitude, and then I ride the bike. I get on my spin bike and I move my body because I like the spin bike. I love that sweat. I used to teach spin, for those of you that don't know, and I love spin. Like, I used to teach it, bomb ass class. There's nothing like it. And so I do spin. I have a Peloton, so I'll do spin. If I wasn't going to do that, I would do some kind of movement. Maybe I'd go for a walk if Kevin was home or something because Riley was sleeping or whatever. But anyway, I get on the bike and I sweat my ass off and I stretch and I feel good. And then usually by the time I'm done with that, Riley's waking up. But I've literally gotten to do so much for myself before she wakes up that I'm in a really good mood. I feel more patient. I feel like I'm more productive. So it's prioritizing yourself. Bottom line, to answer this question of how do you get started and how do you keep going, is you have to decide. And you might have thought, well, that's not really a deep answer, but sometimes it's not so deep. Sometimes we're always looking for this deep answer when it's not so deep. Just decide. And when you decide, set your goal and take action. And so anyway, that's what I wanted to answer, those two questions. When more questions come in on that questions box on my story, I will go live throughout the day answering the questions that are coming in. I just also want to say, like, I really love each and every one of you that are here, support my page, support what I do, support my businesses, because I have multiple businesses within my business, and it wouldn't be possible if I didn't have all of you here and following me and being a part of it. And so I'm really grateful. And to all of you that have purchased one of my merchandise hoodies, so this was the original design, which a lot of you were like, I want that one. So next merchandise launch, perhaps I will bring this one back. But the Changing the World Begins with Me is part of the movement of generating impact, and it's on the back. So if you did purchase a hoodie, thank you. I am going to be picking 5 people to win an Amazon $50 Amazon gift card from the people who ordered the sweatshirts. So I do appreciate all of you that ordered. I know that we don't have international shipping right now because there was an issue with the website and shipping. Somebody asked me about shipping to Canada, but I will figure that out for the future. Moving forward and stuff, because I know I have a lot of Canadians on here. And anyway, I just want to say I'm grateful and I'm thankful. So thanks for listening to me this morning. Hopefully that helped answer your questions, those 2 top questions. And again, it's talking about discipline, motivation, things like that. It's like a passion for me. It's a deep dive because I've mastered that craft. And so if that's something that you've been struggling with, 100% get on my call on Monday and let me take you through that. If you're a mom, let me take you through that. If you're not a mom, I've said this, maybe you're in a relationship and you've lost yourself in the relationship. Maybe you've given everything to your partner and now you've put yourself on the back burner. Or again, maybe you're single and you haven't prioritized yourself. So wherever you are, whatever category it is, it's for you. It's not just for moms. It's for women though. So let's talk. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, girls, for tuning in and listening. I really appreciate you. I know there's some guys on here that do actually listen and enjoy this, enjoy my real talks. And I appreciate you. And, just shout out to, not even just the moms that when I was talking about before, but the dads too, because there's a lot of single dads out there that struggle just as much as we do. And so what I want to share to that is what I was saying about releasing the stigma of going to therapy. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. Monday, the Generating Impact Masterclass will be held on a private Zoom call. You will get the access to that information after you purchase your ticket. I did link the tickets on stories this morning. It is Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you miss it live, you will have access to the recording. And if you're interested in asking a question or you're struggling with something you want me to answer, you can submit that to me prior to. I will answer it on the open format of the call. And that way, when you get the recording back, you'll be able to hear my feedback on whatever it is that you wanted me to discuss as if you were on there. But again, I love you guys. Have a great day and we'll talk soon. Bye.